Welcome to Main Street Gamers. Fireside Chat, Episode 4. Saints Row 4. Davis. I'm Chris Engels. This is Cosley Davis.
Yeah, it's Chris Engels down there.
Davis, you played Saints Row 4. What did you think?
Alright. First of all, let's just get into this background here. I've officially played all these Saints Rows now. Started out with 1, which was kind of a GTA clone. Saints Row 2, in my opinion, is the best. It really starts to define itself as a game, and it was a really good co-op experience. And then Saints Row 3, that's when stuff starts getting a little out of hand. And then Saints Row 4 comes out, and it's just completely gone. The stuff that happens in Saints Row 4 is just it's out of this world, literally. You start by you do this little sneaky mission, and like in the opening scene, it was kind of like it was a tactical game almost, and they were making fun of like Metal Gear Solid and kind of like Splinter Cell. I think it was really knocking out Splinter Cell because that was the game that came out that same week with it. So like you're infiltrating this like this base, and you're like a spec op agent, and it's like you're sneaking around, and like this is the point where Saints Row could be. They could have took it seriously here, and it could have been a tactical third-person shooter. But what they did is they started making fun of themselves immediately. It's like shoot out the light, then the guard, and then your character was like, oh, so I guess I gotta shoot out the light and then the guard, and they just kept saying that joke over and over for the 25 minutes they have to play this mission. And I was like, from the get-go, you guys are already just like nailing in the coffin here that this game is not serious at all, and there's even a potential that it could have been, and then they're just immediately like, well, guess what, you're the president now, and then boom, aliens attack, and it's like, I'm done. Like at that point I was like, alright, I really don't care what happens to any of these characters. And then later on, there's one thing about the game that kept me playing through it really was there's a certain character, I won't spoil it, but there's a certain character that you're trying to find, and I was like, alright, well, I need to know what happens here, because if this happens, it's gonna put me over the edge. So that's my initial thoughts of Saints Row the 4.
You kind of talk about how this sort of line between serious and, for a lack of a better term, goofy. You wanted to see it more as a serious game?
Yeah, like, I wanted, like, there's, like, stuff that, like, it's a fun game to play, but it's they've taken, like, not being serious to just such an extraordinary level in this game that it just upsetted me most of the time I played it. To where, like, the missions are all the same. It's like, oh, by the way, you got superpowers now, and then it's like, this game doesn't feel like Saints Row anymore. Everything about, like, being a gang and everything is, like, that started to dwindle away in 3, but now that's completely out the door. It doesn't even matter who your gang members are. There's no reason to do side missions. There's no reason to customize your car, because you can jump around the map and fly everywhere now. So it's not Saints. I don't even know why they called it Saints Row the 4th. They could have called it Crackdown meets Prototype meets making fun of Metal Gear Solid game the 4th. Play it as fun.
I actually heard something kind of cool that they should have called it Super Saints Row, which I thought would have been awesome.
That would have made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the only thing that keeps it a sequel is it, like, chronologically follows after the other games, but it's like, now you're fighting aliens and stuff instead of other gangs, and it's like, this isn't Saints Row anymore.
So
it is and it isn't. Story-wise, in the world, it's not Saints Row, but at the same time, it is Saints Row, because it feels like you're playing a Saints Row game when you're not using superpowers, but, like, 95% of the time you're playing this game, you're using superpowers. It's really weird.
So, do you think that this game is gonna kind of interfere with Grand Theft Auto? I mean, that's been the big our big question.
After Saints Row 3, these games don't exist in the same genre anymore. Really, like, it's really not even the same genre anymore. Especially with Saints Row 4, there is, like, specifically, this game was made for Saints Row 4 fans, like, or Saints Row fans.
Well, that I
Saints
mean,
Row 3 and on. If you were a fan of Saints Row 3, you will be a fan of this game.
so even if
you're
you're
more of a die-hard Saints Row fan, like actually enjoyed like the gang customizations and stuff, and like being a gang member, you probably didn't like 3 as much, and you probably won't like 4.
so you don't think so this wasn't obviously a game for you, but do you think there is a group of people that would really enjoy this game?
Yeah, I mean, if you like Saints Row 3, then this is just another. It's like there was a lot of rumor that it was just gonna be like basically like a DLC pack, but it's a complete different game. And
I kind of think
if you're
I've always kind of thought of Saints Row. Maybe this is unfair, but I've always kind of thought of it as Grand Theft Auto for teenage boys. I don't know why I've always thought that way. But, like I think it's always like Grand Theft Auto for 13-year-old boys who like are like, oh, look at all these boobs and look at this. I'm running around with
spaceships.
I'm running around naked. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm hitting people with the dildo bat. It's like sweet.
Yeah, that's always kind of how I felt about this game. And it sounds like that has only gotten more true now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous now. And here's the thing that made me mad. It's like the driving in 3 was like, They actually like made the driving better in this game, but then they're like, oh, guess what? You got superpowers and you can fly everywhere and you don't need cars anymore. So most of the time, I would just drive cars just for the sake of driving. And then I'd be like, well, I guess I better go do a mission now. It fucking flying off into space, basically, with all my superpowers.
That sounds kind of awesome, but I know
it was cool, but it's not in a Saints Row game. Like, give Crackdown superpowers. That's what this game is.
Well, it's clearly just a junky action game, and I'm okay with that. Like, there's a place for that totally, in the world.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's fun.
If it was a different time period, like if this had come out 3 weeks ago, I think we would have appreciated it a lot more, because 3 weeks ago everything was dead, but now it's starting to heat up. We got Madden, we got Splinter Cell, we're getting Rayman, we're getting, leading right into GTA. I think if this had come out like 2 months ago, we would have appreciated it a lot more.
If I was 4 years younger and my parents brought this game home for me, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But when it comes down, if it's like a quality game, it's not there. Like, I gave it a
72.
I gave it a 72 out of 100. So like, it's fun and stuff. If you're a Saints Row fan, definitely buy it. It's worth the $60. There's tons of content in it. I just didn't want to do any of it just because I was like,
that's fair.
This just doesn't make sense.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you have one last closing chunk of wisdom to impart on us?
There's this big conspiracy with like how Saints Row 3 ended and stuff, and if you want to know more about it, definitely play Saints Row 4 all the way through to find out what happens.
Excellent. That's a great teaser. This has been Fireside Chat, Episode 4, Saints Row 4.
Saints Row the 4th.
Saints Row the 4th.